brings you to Asia?
What brings me to Asia? That's a great question. I'm from the UK, as you know, and I was working for intercontinental hotel groups. My background is hospitality management, and I was in the city of Leeds opening a new hotel. Mm-hmm. We got the hotel open on time, and as a reward for that, my company allowed me to go to Asia on a familiarization trip with my food and beverage manager to look at hotels primarily in Singapore and to capture some of their best practices and bring them back to the UK.
Has it changed you in any way? Asia, has it changed you as a person?
Yeah, I think so. Well, it's an interesting one. Has it changed me? Yes, it has. It's given me a lot more opportunities than I would have had, I think, had I stayed in my own country.
Oh, yeah?
As you realise, in Asia, the cultural diversity is rich. You get chance to meet and work with and partner with many different nationalities.
Yeah.
That can be challenging, but it's also enriching. So I think I'm more flexible, I'm more open-minded, and there's certainly, I think, more opportunities to, if you're hungry to hustle and be an entrepreneur, there's tremendous opportunity in Asia. China's slowing down a little bit, but still, the vibrancy and opportunity out here is fantastic, and I don't see that changing anytime soon.
Were you adapting well, settling in with our culture, the food, the weather, and everything else?
I was very fortunate moving, it was an internal transfer, moving from the UK to Hong Kong with Intercontinental Hotel Group. And for sure, in that first year, the HR director, my role was resident manager, I was the number 2 in the hotel, so I had the general manager and I was number 2. Right. But the HR director was very supportive, and he helped me avoid falling down a few potholes that you can do innocently when you transfer to a new environment. So it was a steep learning curve on the cultural issues, particularly things like face. You know, and let's be honest, face is not just in Asia. Face is important all the way around the world, but perhaps it's just a little bit more important here in Asia. So things like that, and he really did hold my hand and help me, and so I hit the ground running, and that was really good training. So I think I avoided a lot of the pitfalls that a foreigner can face. And when I did make a faux pas, then it was seen as an innocent mistake. It wasn't something that I was trying to upset anybody. So I was very lucky to have that coaching in that first year.
Any mentor friends in Hong Kong?
Well, the HR director, Daniel, his name was Daniel Yip, I remember his name. I've got to say, he was great. Yeah. Spent at least an hour a day with him. We usually had a morning coffee, and he would be coaching me and guiding me and giving me feedback. And of course, my general manager, a guy called Jürgen Baumhoff, because I was a general manager in the UK, but to come and get a job in Asia, I had to step down a level. So that must have been for him a little bit challenging, because I was a general manager and I was coming in as his number 2. But we had a very good relationship, very honest and open relationship. And he did also help me and gave me a lot of good tips and feedback. So that first couple of years in Hong Kong, and in 93 to 98 was an amazing time in Hong Kong. I witnessed the handover of Hong Kong
to China.
China.
Your bucket list, or the goals, your long-term goals, is to have a nice apartment overseeing the sea, tropical breeze, and everything else. Is that why Penang is so attractive to you?
Yeah, that's a great. I'm pleased you've raised that. And for our viewers, let's just. I'm a keen goal setter, and I think I have a lot of good mentors. You were asking me about my mentors in Hong Kong. One of my mentors is a gentleman that most of your viewers will have heard of, Tony Robbins. And I did a program with Tony in 1995. Spent 7 days with him and 1,100 other people from 42 countries in Maui. It was called Life Mastery. And it's where you get to walk on hot coals. And at that program, you get a chance to set your top 3 goals. and I set mine. And then when I came back from that course, I sat one day and wrote down my 12-month, 36-month, 120-month goals. And one of those goals then was to live in a tropical climate, working from home, overlooking the sea and mountains.
Right.
And this goal was written in 1993. I was working at the Holiday Inn. I had no idea how that goal was going to pan out. Another goal was to set up my own consultancy. And I felt very strongly internally that these goals could be achieved, although, my parents were never business owners, they'd always been employees all their life. But I had this strong passion inside of me to want to set up my own consultancy, live in a tropical climate. There were many other goals I wrote down, regarding wellness, for example, and financial goals. And so that was 1993. Fast forward to 2014, last year. And by the way, these goals I wrote down, I had them typed up, laminated, and I carried the card in my wallet. So every now and again, every week,
You didn't know.
I would pull out the card and just remind me of the goals I set. So I'm sat on my balcony in Penang at the Cove in Tanjung Bungah. I'm sat on the balcony and I think I was finishing editing my first leadership book that you mentioned. And I thought, let's just pull out that goal card. And I hadn't looked at it for maybe a couple of months. And I pulled it out and I started to read through it, and there it was. Living in your dream home, overlooking in a tropical climate, overlooking the mountains and sea. And I'm going, there's the sea, there's the mountains, 6,000 square foot apartment, 33rd floor, 6 bedrooms, 3 car parks. I'm going, and I had this tingle down my back that I'd actually realised that goal. And I'd been living in that apartment for a while, but it was just that moment when I said, wow.
You're there.
Wow.
Right?
Wow. Now, there are still goals on that list that I have not yet achieved.
Right.
And I think what I would say to our listeners and viewers that, yes, it's important to write down your goals and put some realistic timeframes, but don't beat yourself up if that goal is not achieved within that time frame. As long as you passionately believe that goal is worthy, keep it on your list and just extend the time frame.
We were taught to set goals, which is good, because now you have a direction of what you want to achieve, where you want to be moving forward. But setting realistic goals and breaking it down into, incremental steps, baby steps, and so on. So, which also gives you a direction. Okay, for me to be able to achieve this, these are the things that I need to do.
Yes.
All these things.
Yes.
So, should we, when we plan for goals, do we have to make it big? Or should we break it down into smaller goals?
Okay, let me answer that question second, but let me just bring in something that I've missed and is very important for our listeners, is when you write down your goals, you need to be passionate about what you're writing down. You need to really want to achieve whatever you're writing down. The passion is very, very important. First and foremost, passion is very important. I was very passionate about setting up my own company. I was very passionate about my wellness goals, and that's very important because when you're passionate and when you hit a roadblock, that passion will help you get over that roadblock. If you're not passionate about what you're doing, then you're not going to have the courage and motivation to get up again when you fall down.
Okay.
In terms of your goals, yes, once you've got your big goals set out, it is advisable to break them down. For example, when I set up my goal to set up my company, and it took me 5 years before I did it, when I knew I was going to be facilitating and a lot of public speaking, I then decided to join Dale Carnegie. Even though I was working full-time as a hotel manager, in the evening I would go to classes, started to read books, more books than I was reading at the time, and preparing myself. So I was chunking it down. I was saying, okay, what do I need to achieve this year towards that goal? What do I need to achieve in year 2? So it's very advisable. Otherwise it can become a little bit overwhelming. So yes, if you have a 5-year goal, let's say, to achieve whatever X, then break it down. What do I need to achieve in year 1 to get to here, in year 2, and year 3, year 4? Very important to break that down. you often hear this quoted. I think it was supposedly a Harvard Business Review survey, which indicated that less than 1% of the adult population, the world's adult population, have goals, and about 0.5% have written goals. So if you have written goals, you're in the 0.5% of the adult population. Congratulations. It is important, and if you don't have them, and we have listeners probably that don't, then based on what I've just shared, please take time to write down what you'd like to achieve in the next 5 years. Because a lot of people that I meet are just wandering aimlessly through life. You know, they're really playing at mediocre, and that's a shame.
Chicken.
Yeah, headless chickens, right. And the goals give you the GPS, and help to give you direction. But it is important to find out what you're passionate about, and then, as we were saying, coffee spill last night, and then find a way to monetize that. Right? You know, what are you? You want to be a photographer? Do you want to be a wellness consultant? Do you want to be a leadership facilitator? Do you want to be a fashion person? Just find out what your real passion is, and then find ways to monetize it. That's the way. That's what real entrepreneurship's about, I believe.
Yes, you've been running this leadership training and academy for a while, and I'm wondering whether you've had any experience coming, with people who give you the worst excuses in different levels. Okay, what was excuses that was given to you when it comes to quitting?
Great. Oh.
Yes.
I mentioned earlier that I moved from the Holiday Inn to the Farama Hotel. And within the briefing from my COO was, Robert, I want you to take this hotel into the 21st century. He was basically saying that the hotel was not up to standard, and it needed to be brought up to standard in all areas. So I set to work on that, and I discovered very quickly that the Farama Hotel had a very, very high staff turnover, higher than the average for the city. And so I went to the HR department and I asked the HR director why this was.
Right.
And remember, this is pre-handover, so it's just before 1997. And the reasons that she cited for high staff turnover were people are leaving to emigrate to Canada. Because before the handover there was a lot of that happening. A lot of Hong Kong people weren't sure what was going to happen, and so they were leaving. So that was one excuse, one reason. Another reason was I'm leaving to take my MBA.
Okay.
That was a little bit questionable. Another reason was I have a sick relative that I have to take care of. Sick grandma, sick mum, sick dad, whatever. These were the reasons cited. I became suspicious, and so I did my own investigation. So I was able to contact people either after they left or once they'd handed in their notice. And I would bring them in and I would say, why are you leaving? And they would say, I'm going to Canada, or I'm going to look after my sick aunt, or I'm going to have an MBA. I said, tell me the real reason you're leaving. And they would repeat the same answer. Eventually, they'd crack and say, well, actually, it's my boss.
Okay.
I'm leaving, but don't say anything. Actually, and many times, I would say 8 out of 10 times that I was able to get them to open up. It would be citing not always their boss, but generally it would be to do with work conditions. And it was never the real reason. It was never the reason that they'd given to the HR department. So here we have HR departments collecting this data, and it's going on still today, in all organizations, because no one really wants to say it's because of my boss. They want to just leave quietly, again, face issue, right? Yeah. So I term it the reason behind the reason. Smart leaders will very often say, I don't think that's the root cause. and so they dig deeper. They'll be a little bit of a detective.
But it's important for you guys to know the actual result.
Yeah, it is, because you can't address the root cause unless you know. You can't address the symptoms unless you know the root cause.
Right.
So once we knew it was a leadership issue. Once we knew that, then what do? We instigated leadership training.
Right.
And within a year, our staff turnover, which I think from memory, and this is going to sound very high, but remember the hotel industry does have high staff turnover. When I went there, it was about 60% turnover. We brought that down within, and the average for the city was about 40 at the time, so it was very high. We brought that down to about 30% within 12 months. Just by identifying.
That's half.
Yeah. And of course the savings, I mean, remember, there is a real cost on staff turnover, and again, there are some, if you go online you can Google this, there's a number, and they say it's, in most cases, the staff turnover is like a year's salary plus. But it's not only that, it's not only the financial costs, it's more pressure for others because they have to cover if someone leaves. It can affect if you're in the service industry, it can affect the service to the end user. There's many negatives from having high staff turnover. Smart leaders pay a lot of attention to that and question when turnover rises. So once we got to the root cause, we instigated the training, and within 12 months we brought that down. So always be prepared to just get reason behind the reason, because no one wants to say that they're leaving because of their boss, because they may want their boss to give them a reference. So all that false data, scary, right? Really scary.
Yes, but it's reality. Worst excuses for not even trying.
Worst excuses for not even trying.
I have a lot that came my way.
I don't like excuses. I mean, excuses are weak, but the ones that in my earlier years that perhaps I've heard is, my boss didn't train me, my boss didn't tell me.
The blaming game.
Yeah, the blaming game. Yeah, blame game. Yes.
All right, this is what we're gonna do. Okay, I'm gonna read. These are all quotes from famous people.
Right.
But what I want you to be able to do is to read them in different international accents.
Okay.
And see how good you are at it. Okay.
I hope you're going to edit this one.
No editing. And this one is from John Quincy Adams. You know him.
Right, yes, okay.
He said, if your actions inspire others to inspire others, to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader.
Right.
I want you to be able to do this in Mexican.
In Mexican?
In Mexican.
Well, I'm going to have to get my reading glasses on, that's for sure.
Do that.
Mexican. Okay.
Do you want some quesadillas or tortillas first?
I think I need some Mexican music.
Salsa.
Great quote.
Yep.
If your actions, that sounds very British. If your actions inspire, I guess that this Mexican would be very serious because he'd want to put on a British accent, wouldn't he? So, if your actions inspire others, to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you're a leader.
You make the words Mexican.
I know you're putting me on the spot there. You may want to edit that one out.
Okay, so this next one is going to be easy for you.
Hopefully
Okay.
this gets easier.
This is from John Maxwell.
Oh, John is I'm a great fan of John.
Leaders become great not because of their power, but because of their ability to empower others. Can you do it en le français, s'il vous plaît?
En français, oh oui. Bonjour everyone. Oh oui. Leaders become great. Not because of their power. That sounds like Russian. Bonjour. But that's good.
You're getting there.
But because of their ability to empower others. Yeah. Okay.
That's a good one. Almost there.
I need to see that.
You make a better French than you are a
Yeah,
Mexican.
I often start my morning conversations with bonjour to people.
Right.
So I won't get it
Let's
again.
do. What do you do it in Italian then?
Italiano. Io parlo italiano. Ciao.
Okay, by the way, he speaks German, he speaks French, he speaks English, and now he says a little
Well,
bit of
my
Spanish.
French is very school French, but if I went back to Italy tomorrow, within a few months, I would be conversationally fluent. Let's just get that right. Before you are a leader, maybe that's a bit German. Because they do a lot of gestation. That's the Italian thing.
You can use it. Come on.
They do a lot of
Body
gestation.
language.
Success.
Yes,
Success.
yes.
Success. That's good. That's it. Success is all about because they do the A's. They exaggerate the last letter of the alphabet. Don't you Italians? Maybe not. Okay. Sorry. Success is all about growing yourself up. When you become a When you become a leader, success is all about grooming others.
Well done, Robert. We're going to talk to the camera.
Yep.
This is the latest book by Robert Kirby. I've got a copy, and I would strongly recommend all of you guys to get a copy. It's not hard reading, but it's essential. Okay. And Robert, I would like to thank you for being part of our coffee skills session last night. I think the community loved what you have shared and everything else. And today is I get to bring that sense of humor out of you. And before we end this, any last advice for our coffee skillers?
Listen, life is full of challenges, but there's a lot of opportunity out there. We're going through some very exciting and interesting times. Technology is enabling us to do and become better leaders. I shared a quote last night where I said that our brains are no longer in our heads, they're in our smartphones. And there is a little bit of truth in that, but clearly our brains are still in our heads. I would just, in closing, I'd just say, look, see the glass as half full, not half empty. Be a victor, not a victim. We're put on this planet to help other people, so don't be selfish. Create your abundance mentality, go out and help people, because as we help people and share our knowledge, we grow ourselves. So see the opportunity out there, go and leverage it. Those of you that are entrepreneurs or about to be, remember what I said earlier, find your passion and monetize that, find a way to monetize it. And I do look forward to meeting some of you as we go around Asia delivering our leadership programs. We're coming to your country soon, and so check me out, check our website out, and we'll see you soon. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you. And for the rest of you, thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe, share this page, like it, and we want to be able to spread Coffee Spill TV as wide as possible. So thank you again. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.